Yep, today is August 10th, 2026. I can let my YouTube community know that on this wound I've made a final decision, and I'm going to be public about it to my YouTube community, what I've decided. And the decision is as if they reveal to me that I've got to have a whole bunch more surgery and spend a whole bunch of more money and all of that stuff because they were, screwing around and not getting things done, missing appointments, kept handing me off to other people every week, changing up my medical staff every single week and all of that. I'm not going to treat this thing anymore. I'm going to let it go. And I'm going to make my peace with God that if I do get infected again and the sepsis sets in, basically like I know somebody else last week that was tired of dealing with a similar situation. They passed away last week because they just decided to be done and no more of that stuff. And they were an adult, and I'm saying I'm well over 21 years old, and I'm an adult, and I can make my own decisions. And I've made a decision today that there's going to be no more surgeries on me regardless, even if it means death. And I'm just saying there's going to be no more surgeries on me, even if that means death in 1 to 2 to 6 months for me. I'm at peace with that. And another thing too is all those surgeries are real expensive, and I'm saying I had to go to the ER to have a precautionary thing done just this past Saturday. It was like August 8th or something like that. And they gave me such a run around there, they weren't even going to do at the ER what I needed done until, I threatened to say, well, as soon as I get out of here, I'm going to go lawyer up. And I said, I've already got a lawyer, and I'm going to sue I'm going to sue the crap out of this company. Those are my exact words. And that greased some gears down there and got things moving real quick when I told them I was going to go lawyer up and that I was going to sue them. That got things moving. And this is Monday. Yeah, that's 2 days ago. And, I was heckling and hinkling with them, and this wound and this life is not of value to me to have to fight like that, hinkle and heckle, and things like that. August 17th every year is one of the best days of my life ever that I enjoy the most is August 17th every year, because August 17th, there's no Ezekiel 12 verse 22 proverb on August 17th for some reason. This is August 10th, 2026. Yeah, I'm just going to say that indefinitely with this anal wound, me having to have anywhere the minimum of 3 appointments a week, sometimes up to more than that every single week, indefinitely, and then having to have, surgeries anywhere from major surgeries to very minor surgeries. That's indefinite. And then this thing just keeps going round and around and never does heal up. I'm just saying the fact of this matter is living a life like that I don't have any kind of quality of life. You know, having to do that and definitely, you know, I'm like 100 years old. I'm 51 now. You get the gist of it. I mean that I don't have any kind of quality of life. Basically having to do this every single week indefinitely with no end and no healing in sight whatsoever. And I can't ever go on a trip. I can't ever go out of state, go see loved ones if I want to, or go on any kind of trip, you know, that's several days. Those days are gone from me because of this wound, and the thing has me always so stressed out all the time, not knowing what they're going to drop on me. You know, at the next appointment, whether they're going to drop another $30,000 surgery on me or another almost week inpatient hospital stay or whatever. I don't know what they're going to drop on me, and it has me so stressed that it's having, you know, real negative effects on my blood pressure, and all my nerves are shot, and I'm just saying my nerves are shot. I'm tired of that stuff. And I'm just gonna say that, you know, if my life has to be like this life ain't worth fighting for to me, and I could care less about fighting for this life anymore. And I'm to a place that I don't care anymore, and I'm being honest with everybody and telling them the truth. I don't care anymore. And also, too, you know, with all the prophetic visions and stuff, I also feel that any hope from that is delayed far past, you know, bringing me any hope or being in reach for me to ever get any benefit out of prophetic events or any healing from that. I feel the hot, bone dry weather pattern that's been in my life for nearly 2 decades now is probably eternal. And I'm just at a place, I'm not interested in fighting this fight anymore, and I have no pleasure in doing it anymore. You know, after knowing that, I mean, it looks like that I'm not ever going to heal up from this anal wound, and the delayed, stall, postpone pattern with God, I don't see any end in sight with that either. And prophecy brings me no hope anymore. I've lost all my hope in God pretty much too, because everything is just stalled and postponed and restrained indefinitely, and I'm caught in the middle of it and can't move either way. And that's why with this wound, I've decided if I get a bad report on Wednesday, I'm going to be stopping treatment and I'm going to go my separate ways. And I'm going to have a nice, calm, and collective conversation about why I'm not going to do it anymore and why I'm thoroughly done, and I'm washing my hands of it, even if it means that, you know, 2-3 months from now, I find death from sepsis. And even knowing the risk, I mean, I'm an adult, I can make my own decisions, and if I don't want to treat this thing anymore, by law, I don't have to treat it anymore, even if that means that because of complications, I find death. And like I said, you know, I don't have any quality of life. having this many appointments, this many surgeries, and this many follow-ups, and then all them wanting me to get like CT scans constantly, and one will say, oh, the thing's 11 centimeters, one will say it's 4 centimeters. Everybody says it's something different, and me getting handed off, and then medical staff going on maternity leaves, and then the insurance company dictating who can see me and who I can't, and the fact that I don't have absolutely any say in anything with my care anymore. Everybody else has say in my care. Chad is the only one who doesn't have any say in anything that's going on here. And that's why I've made the final decision that I have made, and I'm being upfront with everybody about, because it's not worth my time and it's not worth my effort to fight a fight before God that is delayed, stalled, postponed, and never will happen indefinitely, and won't be there when I need it. And I genuinely feel that way about it. And it's just not worth me wasting my energy and my time and effort on something that's going to go absolutely nowhere but around in circles. I don't have any use for that anymore, and I don't need that anymore. And if that means health complications and death on my behalf, I'm fine with that. And it's a vain, futile attempt for me to fight a fight where everything is postponed, delayed, and everything I've ever seen is the God of disappointment. Everything is drought, hot, bone dry, and nothing to life other than being a parable or a metaphor for hot, bone dry, smoky, hazy, and no rain for about 5 years probably. And I was just going to say the wound packing because of the location of it. It doesn't matter how careful I be or whatever. You know, right there on my bottom, it won't stay in. And then they were saying that they want me last week to have another major surgery and then do a wound vac indefinitely, when the placement of the wound and all of the stuff, a bunch of other doctors have looked at me and said that I was ineligible. Then the insurance declined me because the dimensions of my wound were ineligible, and they're wanting me to have probably another $30,000 surgery to make it to where I can do that, when every doctor except for that one says I'm too small, and I'm just not interested in doing that, you know, for 5 or 10 years. And I'm just saying that it's not worth fighting for me anymore, and I'll be honest with you about it. It's not worth it to me to fight anymore, and I desire to just give up. I want to wash my hands and be content in that decision, and I wash my hands of all of God's endless visions, endless waiting, the waiting period that never ends in a million years. I just say the metaphor for never in a million years. Would God ever be through waiting? Never in a million years. And that's why I'm gonna just quit on this wound, and I'm gonna just quit on this thing and be content in my decision here. to just not treat this wound anymore. And if I'm gone in 2 or 3 months or sooner because of sepsis or infection, I'm okay with that. And I'm washing my hands of this thing. And this is getting kind of long, and I thought that I would just be honest with everybody about my decision with this wound care. August 17th, the best day all the way since 1996, all the way to 2025. August 17th has always been the best day of my life every single year. And that's why I always think about August 17th and like August 17th. And August 17th is the best day I've ever had. And the best things in life ever happened to me on August 17th. I don't know what this says, but Mike can turn this down. This was on the August 17th, 2017 tombstone. That was on another tombstone. Good friend of mine there, rest in peace. Rest in peace. Say much love, everybody. Today's August 10th, 2026. And yeah, there's a bird. This thing's all hung up. Yeah, you can barely see that bird. Barely. Yep, it flew away. Much love, everybody.